when you're dealing with tens of millions of pounds of explosives and chemicals, it has to go somewhere.
They built explosives here. They needed components for explosives. The local legend is that munitions were actually dumped there when they closed the plant and walked away.
It's now affectionately known as Guncotton Creek.
The stakes are high. The stakes are really high.
My grandfather, Alfred, raised the kids at Nobel. They had 12 kids. And out of the 12 kids, 5 of them suffered serious forms of cancer, from stomach to brain cancers, thyroid cancers.
What do you think's stuck in the ground there?
I think persistent contaminants that never go away.
I think to work there for like 30, 40 years, breathing the ethylene glycol, the nitrate fumes, was not good.
Clean up the land, return it to the First Nations. We want to be part of the direction that fixes what our governments have done. Wait my whole life for someone to yell action.
Now you're a superstar, right? Watch yourself there.
This is Chief Adam Paywis of Shawanagat First Nation. His connection to this land runs deep.
Where are we right now?
Where we find ourselves today is at the old DIL property in Nobel, Ontario, which is in the heart of Anishinaabe country on Turtle Island. And
This is your land.
it's our land.
You went to school just over here in Nobel, right?
Yeah, that's where I went to public school. And we were always told we could play in the forest at the back of the school, but we were always told to be very, very careful. One day, one of the young guys I went to school with is playing in the back forest and digging around and found a little cylindrical object, silver color with some wires in the bottom of it. He took it to a teacher because he found it, and lo and behold, it was a blasting cap. And it wasn't the only experience where someone found either munitions or leftovers. The local legend is that munitions were actually dumped there when they closed the plant and walked away.
Anywhere else, and that would be unthinkable. But this is where Canada manufactured arsenals for both world wars. During the Second World War, it became known as Defence Industries Limited. DIL was a crown corporation with sites across Canada, including Winnipeg, Ajax, and Nobel. Britain quickly requested 12,000 annual tons of TNT out of here, and another 16,000 tons of cordite for bullets and large shells. The propellant was made in these buildings that were purposely spread out to limit mass casualties. Any trace of the cordite buildings lies buried under this water and time.
They were making quite a bit of cordite, TNT. They were making anti-tank shells. There was factories everywhere. Sulfuric acid, you name it.
And it was all about saving the world. And we agree with that. The effort was absolutely required.
The land may have helped win 2 world wars, but it came at a cost. To the people working here, and also the land itself. To make cordite, you need guncotton and nitroglycerin, 2 explosives made from nitric and sulfuric acids, all of which was made right here, from scratch.
One of the things they dumped in here, so much so they made guncotton, and that was used for cordite. And they were making thousands of pounds of that every day for the war effort. The waste from that, though, they dumped it right into a creek. It's now affectionately known as Guncotton Creek. Every year, just pumping that stuff into the ground. like into the waterways, polluting the waterways, polluting the ground. You have families who've lost multiple people in their families to rare cancers or like extreme painful cancers. Do you think it's because of what happened here and the people who worked here, what they had to drink and eat and just absorb?
Well, I'm not a doctor, so I can't officially or medically say that, but I can tell you that there are, I want to say almost every family that I know has had some form of cancer, whether it's related to these properties or to the area, to the refuse that's left behind.
That's what Anna Martin set out to prove in 2013.
Explosives can remain a hazard for many years. Much better to set off any residues in the buildings or in Guncotton Creek by controlled explosion than by accident at a later date.
I remember this. What could not be cleaned up were the acid spills, but more about that later.
That's World War II. That puts it a little bit closer, the Guncotton, the contamination.
Like after it ignited.
Second World War.
She found the district had one of the highest cancer rates in Ontario. She started asking questions, especially about the environment, and then just listened.
It just kept snowballing from there, and it was like the right person, the right information just kept falling into my lap. And at some point it started to feel like I was being led. You know, if the universe dropped me bait, I'd bite. I couldn't stop.
That led to the creation of Gumption, a nonprofit aimed at raising awareness. 2017, Anna released her findings.
Based on all your research and everything you know about now, what do you think is stuck in the ground there?
I think persistent contaminants that never go away, and that gives you cancer and chronic illnesses. I'm certain of it. It's so shocking now to see how obvious this is and how Guncotton Creek runs directly through the village.
I've heard stories about Guncotton Creek, but this land has changed a lot over the years.
Well, according to this, that creek should go straight through a pier.
If I pull up my old research document, I think there's better maps where you can kind of see.
This water wasn't here in 1945, so I'm not sure where the creek actually begins. Still, its name is a bit startling.
I don't know, what would you call it? High pollutant textile creek? No, you couldn't say that. You couldn't say that out loud and have people understand that as high pollutant textile creek. No. But Guncotton sounds pretty cool, right?
I also don't know if these ruins are the footprints of Canada's wartime past or from a later chapter when jet engines were tested here. In 1946, A.V. Rowe took over what was left of DIL to develop jet engines, including the Orenda for the CF-105, also known as the Avro Arrow. They were here until 1959 and also dumped its outflow into Guncotton Creek. Its weeping bed drained into it too.
What do you think when you see these bunkers almost?
I don't know what to think. Want to know what was here? Want to know what was in them, what they were for? Why they were left like this? I mean, you look at the concrete, it looks like there was a fire. And over there, it looks like it was all busted up. I mean, it makes you wonder whether it exploded. I don't know, it's a strange set of ruins. And it's even stranger that it was left unattended like this.
DAL may have been a federal crown corporation, but a private company managed it. Canadian Industries Limited was a private manufacturer of textiles and explosives at the time. And Nobel, CAL already had factories right across the road. After the war, CAL continued making explosives here until the last factory closed in 1985. The gates are still locked. And it's where I meet Shane McKinnon. His late grandfather, Wallace McKinnon, began work at DIL.
He went away to go for the war effort, and he wasn't successful. He was flat-footed, so what else are you gonna do? You got a big factory here that's hiring people to work. So you go to work and support the war effort the way that you can. So he started
Mixing chemicals.
mixing chemicals for the war effort. Yeah.
Wow.
Shane says his grandfather lived with chronic pain most of his adult life.
So I'm sure that you're in there, you're mixing, and all those caustic materials are going together, and you're breathing them in.
Did your family think that's what led to his death?
I believe that it was for sure the pain that he was experiencing was attributed to the chemicals that he was exposed to while making explosives here at
bone
CIL.
pain.
Bone pain. Yeah.
It must be awful to deal with.
Yeah, and he would rock on the edge of his bed at night and he would just cry because he was in so much pain. His bones were deteriorating, so he actually had to have surgery on one of his elbows because it had deteriorated.
All these years later, this land still holds secrets of its past. And so does the water.
Everyone knows about this, but everyone actually has like this sly look at, oh, DIL, eh? Or CIL. It's like it's not nefarious, but there's some sort of undercurrent of like, maybe there's something more here.
I think that there's a little bit more than what we're being told, to be honest. When you're dealing with tens of millions of pounds of explosives and chemicals, it has to go somewhere.
Nobel is the town that Canadian Industries Limited built. They call this the Square. It's where the managers once lived. One of them was Ron Van Conant.
It was fabulous. I mean, it was really nice. It was like a little community up here with a lot of young families raising their kids.
Ron says he held various supervisor roles in the 1970s and early 80s. One of them was as the health and safety manager.
I mean, I think to work there for like 30, 40 years breathing the ethylene glycol denitrate fumes was not good. From a cardiovascular standpoint, probably from a nervous standpoint or so forth, but they did it.
You were saying earlier too about there was a spot where people always had headaches or something like that?
Yeah, working, if you breathed those fumes, if you went into where they were, the punch houses where they were punching the dynamite into the shells, you'd get a headache. Like as soon as you went in there, you'd get a headache. If you touched any of that dynamite product in your hands, it would absorb through your skin and you'd get a really good headache.
But Ron handled other hazards too, including all the explosives that washed up on shore.
I got a hold of the Department of National Defense in North Bay, and they took possession of them and then sent me a graph later showing this basically a rocket and this position that this explosive piece had within the rocket. And they told me that when they ignited them there, they actually still blew up. So.
Still blew up after all those years,
Yeah.
eh? Underwater, floating,
Yeah.
comes to shore.
Yeah, that's what they told
As
me.
soon as it dries, eh?
This isn't the first time I've heard stories of people finding munitions in Georgian Bay. Last year I met with elders and knowledge keepers from the Wasauksing First Nation in Dupont Harbor just across from Nobel.
My friend's father was smoking a cigar and he just put it out and it blew up.
You were there, you saw it?
Yeah, I saw
You
it.
were 5 or 6?
Yeah.
What do you remember of the flash?
I just remember being in the water and turning around and he was screaming.
Apparently there's 2 ships at the bottom of this harbor too, right here, with other munition materials.
Right. We're talking about explosives, stable explosive TNT in the water. And what we're told from our scientists is that it's very stable. So it would be just as explosive as it was years ago as it is today.
But something else was put in the water, and a lot of it. DIL was a booming operation that depended on millions of gallons of water every day to make explosives. It was pumped in from Georgian Bay in this large pipe. The operation created a lot of wastewater, and it had to go somewhere. And I found a bit of that mystery in the Library and Archives in Ottawa. It wasn't just Guncotton waste dumped into the creek. It was much more than that. Waste from TNT and nitroglycerin was also dumped into Guncotton Creek, and we're getting close to finding out where it began.
We're gonna go in through here, Adam. It's a bit of a walk. It's not that wet.
Sure, let's go.
Canada claims it cleaned up DIL in 1946. One way they did was digging up the ditches and setting fire to the dirt.
You're getting eaten alive, eh?
It's all good.
But you wish you had that bug spray now.
I learned that Guncotton Creek began close to the Guncotton factories and is about 2 kilometers long. It crosses under Nobel Road, into the village of Nobel, through these woods, and finally into here, Guncotton Bay, which it's still called today.
The stakes are high. The stakes are really high. This is a huge legacy site in Canada's history. The federal government had a business deal with a private corporation that pretty much absolved them from any responsibility.
It's kind of scary to think what people were drinking all those years, right?
Yeah, it's really heartbreaking. I've sat at those tables where where mothers are blaming themselves for where they chose to raise their children, and that's why they're dead.
While Anna Martin's report fell short of proving a direct link between the environment and the cancers here, she certainly raised some serious questions. DIL dumped millions of gallons of waste into local waterways, and in this confidential document from 1981 I uncovered, CIL questioned how Canada cleaned up DIL. The degree and method of decontamination is unknown, they said. But CIL also had its own issues, including with Guncotton Pond. During the war years, Guncotton wastes were disposed of in Guncotton Pond, Creek, and Bay. Occasionally, grass fires occurred around the Guncotton Pond due to flare-ups of burning guncotton. The Nobel Works site presents problems which need further investigation. The problem of guncotton disposed on site and the past decontamination of the DIL plant need to be resolved. CIL closed down less than 4 years later after writing that report. I'm not sure if it resolved the issues before locking the gate. But with a clearer picture of the property, I go to the local mayor of Nobel for answers. His office is on Nobel Road, and surely he knows more about the cleanup efforts over the years.
There's a lot of stuff that went into the ground here. Like you have the whole Guncotton Creek down to the bay. It's still named Guncotton Bay, you know?
I don't know what's in a name.
Pardon me?
I don't know what's in a name, but Guncotton Creek, I don't know, what does that mean, Guncotton? I went down through that creek, I don't know.
Why call it Guncotton Creek and Guncotton Bay if they weren't dumping things in there, right?
Yeah, you're asking the wrong person.
What I read online and some of the reports that are on your website, that's pretty well known that area, there's some contamination there.
Well, those are your words. I mean, I don't, to say it's an industrial site, one would think maybe there is, whatever, but I couldn't tell you that there is contamination there or not.
But we do know. We know because test wells like this one on the DIL property, and all of these on the CIL side. Previous owners have found contamination, and the mayor should know that. After all, his office hired a company called GHD to review all the environmental reports.
It's from GHD, and it's a peer review of all the Golder reports there. So it wasn't my words saying contamination. It was a report that was given to you in 2017 by.
Yeah, GHD used to be Conestoga Rovers engineering firm.
In 2017, GHD sent this letter to the mayor confirming the industrial lands are contaminated, and I want to know what they found.
So that's what I mean when I asked you, like, you must have some idea that they must have given you some sort of idea of what's in there, right now?
Yeah, but when you talk about contamination, I would look at, like, most of us will fish in this area, and there's the fish stock are healthy and in good shape, the wildlife, the deer and that are all fine. And I kind of look at nature as saying, there's the bellwether for how we are doing environmentally. I mean, if GHD is saying that it was there, then I guess it was there. I'm not an environmentalist.
The land has changed hands several times over the years. In 2019, it was bought by a Chinese financial company that floated plans for a resort and golf course. 7 years later, the site remains barren. No construction, no development. Whatever lies beneath the soil remains buried.
Just underestimated how much it's going to cost to remediate the lands.
Yeah.
The lands are sick. The lands they're polluted. I believe it's the cost. It's still part of the cost of the war.
There were other casualties in that war.
100%. Not just on the front lines.
I think it was just out of sight, out of mind. Like, this was in the past, it was forgotten. And so with what I know now, what I would consider the Nobel lands is contaminated, dark, and corrupt.
Here is a solution. Clean up the land, return it to the First Nations, allow them to help develop an industrial complex that will serve the needs of the local community and the economy at large in Ontario, Canada, and the rest of the world. We have solutions. We want to be part of the direction that fixes what our governments have done, not just to bury our heads in the sand and move on. We can do better, and under my watch, we will do better. So, for government listening out there, you can't just dump garbage in the land and walk away.